Well, how the hell are you? You know, yesterday, last night, been up all night watching TSM play. First Immortals the other day before went out. TSM went out. And, you know, got certain people. And, you know, everybody's got their opinion. You know, and sometimes I say stuff that some people think is a little bit too harsh. Some other people say way worse stuff than I do. But everybody's got their own opinion on how they deal with something when it comes to, you know, the sport or activity that you like to watch and how you act as a fan. And a lot of these people, not a lot, have the idea that some of them, let's go with this, have the idea that because you're not a pro, you can't cast an opinion on something. And that's ridiculous. You know, there's plenty of people that watch football, baseball, and basketball, and they're not pros, and they cast opinions on them. They get pissed because somebody missed a shot, or fumbled the ball, or didn't make the yardage they were supposed to do. When they're, you know, there's all kind of reasons. You don't have to be an expert to cast an opinion. Now, that may mean that your opinion might not mean shit. It might not, you know, to somebody who has maybe more experience, might look at you and go, this guy's a dumbass, he don't know much. And that may be true in some cases, it may be true in a lot of cases. But still, as a fan, especially a fan of esports, Twitter and different feeds, like, I don't use Reddit, but I guess Reddit and, you know, these instant message things are a way to communicate how you're feeling about your games that you might be watching that day. No matter what kind of event it is, people are gonna, you know, chime in on that. Now, back in the old days when we watched a basketball game or something, you know, we were mostly watching on TV, so we're just talking to ourselves in the living room. But now, our opinions are spread across the world. Sometimes other countries see it, a lot of different people, nationalities, backgrounds, liberals, Democrats, Republicans, right, left, you know. And you get a lot of people out there that, because you said something they don't like, they jump on the bandwagon. What the hell you do? I'm like, don't matter. It's my opinion. This is how I watch the game. This is how I enjoy it. But let me move on real quick to TSM. You know, I have my opinion on, you know, what I see as a regular thing that happens since maybe 2015, 2016, 2017. And I don't know how far this rings true, but it seems to me that they just basically quit playing. Somebody, and I'm not going to bust on Vince Guerin. We go back to, you know, back when Centurion was playing, you know, it was like hard to buy a gank from him. And it seemed like these last games, it was hard to buy a gank from Vince Guerin. I'm just making a comment. I'm not hating on Vince Guerin. I like all the guys that play. I don't have any animosity or hatred. I might not like how they played that day, and I'm not blaming the games just on him. Then we have certain picks that are just out of the blue that I would assume we haven't done that well with in the past. And during this whole event, there was a couple of picks that were pretty consistent no matter who picked them. It doesn't mean you will win, but it means it was a harder lane to deal with, like Janna. You know? I don't know if Biofrost plays Janna. I've never seen Hanser play Jace, though. But guess what? I did mention, like yesterday or the day before, that one of the habits that I thought I've seen, you know, happening at events, you know, especially when we got into playing Koreans and stuff, was that TSM got ganked top lane a lot because my son Darius, y'all obviously know him, got the special treatment every time they went to Worlds, usually by either 2 or 3 man ganks. Now maybe the meta was changed at that time, but for some reason I knew top lane ganks were going to start happening. I don't know, just a wild guess, not no expert opinion or anything really. I mean, just a wild guess. And sure enough, Hanser gets jumped on, and I'm not going to say, I would say his Cho'Gath game, I don't know if I was really fond of that, because I thought he was playing too aggressive for a champ that needed to, you know, build up, before, you know, build up some stuff, you know, especially since he was playing against Renekton. But that's just my opinion, you know. And then he got ganked. Well, then they ganked him again, and they just kept putting him down. Now, we obviously didn't learn the lesson, because we didn't do no ganking up top. We didn't try to do no ganking. Now, I don't know who calls it on the team. If Vince Guerin just makes up his own mind or what. But you would think as pros, somebody in that 5-man squad is saying, hey, we need to do something, or somebody's calling for it. Now, if we're still having the problem on TSM, and my son was part of this too, of where they can't communicate because they haven't matured enough, or I don't feel like it. I mean, how is it that a pro in today's League of Legends can sit there? I mean, there's got to be somebody slapping some heads or something to say, hey, grab your balls and speak up. There's communication as a game. If you're playing a team sport, you're claiming it's a 5-man decision, somebody's got to say something. So you just, and like I said, I don't know the inner workings of TSM. That's the team I root for. The team my son was on. I don't have any animosity towards them. I'm sad the Mortals got put out. I was rooting for them, and I was rooting for TSM, and I'll be rooting for Cloud9. And when they're all 3 gone, I'll be rooting for EU, or maybe I'll root for WE. I don't know. Maybe, who knows? I'll have to make a choice. Decide, but it'll depend on, you know, who I fancy that day. But anyway, I'm just getting back to the conversation with myself, actually, since I'm talking to a camera and nobody's there. We always wonder how much the management or manager has to do with picking bands. Now, we go back to 2015 MSI, Madison Square Garden, and, you know, props to CLG for winning. You know, we go back to, you know, where I think it was Worlds. What was it? I think it was Worlds. And we had, you know, picks and bands like Cho'Gath mid, and I think it was, who else was it? I can't remember off the top of my head. It wasn't what you call a Berg champ. It's not that Berg can't play a lot of these champs. It just wasn't something you would think you would see him on when he, with a person of that talent and skill, should be being on a mobile champ that can do things, that can cause action. But it seems like, for some reason, that's all forgotten. You know? That back in 2015. Then same thing, 2016. It seems like we had same kind of issues of falling short and stuff. So I just wonder if is it the lack of management? You know, maybe Parse needs somebody else. Maybe he's a good manager. We don't know. We just know the results. You can only say you're good enough if your results are not good. Now, if you want to talk NA, your results are good. You're 100% most of the time. You know, but if your results are the same after 2 years, then you got to start asking, either the people need more help or they need a change. And I'm not going to say one player needs to be changed just because of one bad event. I want to know, we would like to know as fans, and they don't, you know, I got these people on Twitter that go, they don't owe you anything. Well, you're right. TSM doesn't have to pay us shit. And, you know, they can take that attitude if they want. They don't have to explain nothing to us. I was grateful that Reggie talked to Travis and stuff. But eventually, yeah, I'm driving. Eventually, what happens is when you got fans that support you and stuff, because believe me, fans watching and supporting the LCS pays everybody's salary, basically. You know, the fact that they're fans is the fact they're sponsors and everything else. Without fans, you don't have sponsors because there's no reason to fucking advertise with you. So people can say shit like that, and I just kind of brush it off because it's just ignorant. You know, yeah, they don't owe us anything personally as per se per single person, but they do owe some kind of explanation or some kind of reasonable thought pattern to explain after 2-3 years why they failed this time. And it is not that they failed because it was good games. It was horrible games. That's what's really bothering me this time. It wasn't like they played good and it was close and the other guy just beat them out, or, you know, got one more Baron and stuff, or, you know, it was just not good games. They had one game they won after they outscaled the other team, but the rest of it was bad. It was like people were wondering, what are you doing? It's almost like you're farming, waiting for somebody else to be proactive and stick their foot up your ass, which is basically what seems like what's happened. So I'm just kind of curious myself, because I'm a fan. Still love TSM. Still wish them to do well. You know, it's hard for me to dislike really anybody on any team and stuff like that. I might grumble and tweet shit and stuff and troll stuff, but I don't wish any hate on any of them stuff. So anyway, that's just some of my questions. I just wonder why you know, everybody thinks their opinion matters more than the next guy, you know, just because they don't like it or not. You know, you could look at somebody that, you know, I look at some guys and, you know, they follow me, and, you know, some of my follow, and they're just dogging the hell out of the guy. And I'm not going to tell them they don't have a right to, you know. If people were not passionate about the game, now some people are real kind-hearted. There's some people dogging me, talking, I don't expect that out of you, Dadris and stuff. And I'm not gonna flame them because they're nice. They're just how can you be mad at somebody for talking to somebody? In other words, telling you to be nice. I mean, why are you being mean? I mean, it's kind of hard to be, you know, hateful on them stuff. I'm driving down the wrong damn road. So I can't be hateful on the people that just want me to be nice to people. They don't think that I'm being nice enough. So I won't be hateful. I just won't sit there and keep arguing with them and stuff over the shit, because they want to tell you how you should act. I think I'm old enough that I act to hell the way I want to, you know, and I expect everybody else to. You know, would you act different in person? Yeah, you probably would and stuff. But that's not what not what we're doing. We're on Twitter. We're steamed about, you know, the game being lost and stuff, the series, you being out of it. Now, it doesn't mean that I don't recognize that TSM is like tenfold feeling a lot worse than my dumb ass is. You know, I know that. I'm like, I can imagine, you know, being in their position under pressure and then losing it. But that's what being a pro's about. You can't just take the good and just leave off the bad. Y'all take care. Later.